One of the most important things that I felt like I didn't have growing up were role models that were doing it. I was the only Colombian kid, like in elementary school and middle school. We grew up dealing with some things that other people don't have to deal with. That was the moment that I was like, okay, well, let me put it into my music. Let me be me and express it. And that's it. My name is Jake Knox. I am a music producer and creator in Los Angeles, California.
Becoming a music producer seems like a daunting task, right? Well, today, we're taking a glimpse into the professional and personal life of Jake Knox, a lively and hardworking music producer who attended the Berklee School of Music, played live shows in front of thousands of fans, and continues to work diligently on his craft. So then, you guys down to see what it takes to be a music producer? Let's go.
So I play guitar, bass, piano, drums, everything with strings, banjo, mandolin, violin, cello, some trumpet, anything music, singing. It's all a universal language, and that's the thing I love about music. My job is to come into situations, see what people sort of want to produce and help them get there and finish it up and unlock some ideas in their own mind. It's really to just problem solve and figure out how to get certain sounds. That whoop, that's literally me going whoop, and just messing with it. So a day in the life of Jake Knox goes like this. Do some CGI, right? We're gonna put some great, amazing things going on. I wake up and the first thing that I do is I go to my project studio in my house and just sit at the piano and just play and just see what comes out. Maybe do some production ideas and just get cooking. Sometimes that turns into 3 hours of working on something and sometimes finishing things. And sometimes it's a half hour of just oh, that sounds horrible. Let me throw that away and then go make breakfast. Missed it. And then once that happens, it's sort of get into the emails, see what other production projects I'm working on, see what artists need. And then from noon on, it becomes a million things, right? Just to give an example of this past week, Sunday, I worked with an artist, Brandon Lucas. We were doing a live show taping for his artist stuff. Then I've been working on a film with my buddy David Rubin, so I did the whole score for that. And then it's finishing up my record. I just signed a thing with SoundCloud, and so we're prepping the release and doing all the ads for that. And then just wrapped a music video. I've got the song with Chance that we're about to work on, and I've got a docket of a couple other artists. Day to day, it changes up a bit, so it's a fun little surprise. So I'll get these things looping, so just real just high up there noodling around, and we'll see if anything sticks, because again, the whole vibe will be let's get as much of this on vocal and then we'll see how it goes.
Okay, cool.
We don't talk anymore. No, we don't. Oh.
Yeah, buddy, getting that sauce, man, getting that sauce. All right, I'm gonna make you go even higher. Growing up in Arlington, it was a majority white, suburbs of DC. So I'm Colombian, and it was interesting growing up. I was in elementary school. I think I was the only Latino kid. You might relate to this. You sort of code switch a little bit, and when you're code switching, you kind of lose who you are to a certain extent, because you're sort of putting up an act to be, if you're with a certain group of kids, you might talk a little bit differently or bring up different subjects. The one thing that I knew that could be mine and I could hold on to was music. So that sort of became my personality in a weird way, where I was the guitar kid. I was the kid that was playing in the battle of the band. I was the kid that was doing jazz band and listening to music but I was always able to come back home with music and production. And when I was practicing or recording, in middle school, that became sort of who I was, and in the long run eventually led me to find myself. After graduating Berklee, I moved out here and got an internship at this company called Sacred Tiger with this composer, Henry Jackman, who was working on Captain America: Winter Soldier. But really got to see someone's work ethic. I mean, this guy worked from when he woke up to way, way late at night. 3 weeks later, got hired, and I worked doing like music coordinating and scoring stuff on this show called Monsters vs. Aliens. And I started doing sort of my own scoring work, working on a couple of films and doing, indie film scoring. Then I'm doing music production and music directing at sort of like a mid-tier level of new artists. And then through the Berklee board, I see a post about working with this guy, Will Wells, who's a big name in the industry, just working with like Imagine Dragons, LMFAO. The post said like, looking for a guitarist / keyboard music director for this project. Will said, I would love to get you in for this audition. I really respect everything that you're doing. I love your music and everything that you've done. And I kind of looked at that and said, this makes no sense, right? Because I know he doesn't know me, I know him, he's working on bigger stuff, whatever. I just kind of said like, thanks, but I think you have me mistaken for another person. And he did. So there's this other Jake that we went to school with that he thought I was, who's like crushing the game. Like this guy that's like doing all these big things. It was a case of mistaken identity, but Will's nice and said, you know what, just like come out. Just come out to the audition. It's at Interscope. And then next thing you know, I'm just like playing this tune in the studio with this artist and we're both singing and vibing. It's just like this connected thing that happens. And it wrapped up and like me and the artist just vibed and it felt good. Got a call the next day from Will Wells and he was like, hey, what does your March look like? And then all of a sudden everything took off from there. And it was like going to all these rehearsals, getting paid for all these things, playing venues of like 3,000, 5,000 people, just big steps. And from there, the career just went. No matter what you do, if you're trying your best, that's all that matters. Again, it's not about like aiming to reach the top. It's about discovering yourself and you can't lose with that, so. I had a conversation with a label and it was the weirdest conversation I've ever had because we were talking about stuff and we're like, oh yeah, like, we're doing music, we're about to pitch your record and all this stuff. And they said like, also like, you're Latino, right? Because like being Latino, it's like in right now, like, which is like a crazy thing to have a conversation with like just a white person about. Just like, yeah, like, dude, that might like help things because that's like happening right now. Which like with that, just the way they said it was just so like, oh, like, yeah. It's almost like fetishizing like a whole culture and like background with this stuff. And it's like, that's one thing that we're still experiencing today. So even though there is like some representation, you'll get some weird byproducts of it. As a Latino dude, like, I think it's just super important to help, give back and remind people like, you can just be yourself. You don't have to be like pigeonholed in one thing and you don't have to like code switch to fit in. Like once you're able to accept yourself for who you are, you can achieve anything. And then even going beyond that, like it's super important to like teach and keep like passing on this skill and knowledge. Like I have a couple students, all of them are Latino actually, now that I'm thinking about it, which is like super, super dope. It's that thing where if you give a little bit of inspiration, right? Just like a little bit of knowledge, then you're really able to watch people grow into amazing things. I have one student who probably would never have listened to jazz, right? And you just give them a little bit of knowledge and a little bit of representation and just have them like, just kind of get it and feel like part of the club. And it's awesome because like, I didn't have cats like that I grew up with and got to play with. So it's awesome just to kind of see the community starting to like build and make things happen. Any goal that you want to have, just break it up into little bite-sized portions and you'll be able to get it. And my biggest goal is to like access just who I am and keep learning about who I am, learning about my identity, learning about like my culture, learning about how I interact with people and, switching that into music. And don't stop learning. That's the biggest thing. If you're working on something or you want to be something, learn the whole craft because there's going to be moments where the jobs change and everything changes a little bit. And if there's a person that knows everything about it, you're going to get called back. For everyone watching, and this is an honest, open invitation, shoot me a DM on Instagram. If you have like inspiration or you want to like chat about something, I am here. We're all going through like the same stuff. We're all working on things. We're all trying new things. Like, if we all can like pull together and like really, you know, just share information and knowledge, like we'll be able to climb that mountain faster and you won't have to fall off a ledge. Keep learning. Don't give up on your dreams. Live, laugh, love.
There you go. Never stop learning, pass on that knowledge, and accept yourself for who you are. The team and I want to thank Jake for giving his insight into music producing. We hope those up-and-coming music producers feel as inspired as we do. Now, we'd love to hear from you. Let us know which career you'd like us to cover next. And if you enjoyed, please consider donating so we can continue highlighting these stories. All right, I gotta go and show off my new producing skills, but I'll catch you on the next episode.